Cybernation Uncensored.
In terms of the volume.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Cybernation Uncensored. My name is Nigel, I'm going to be your game runner, and we are once again playing our Blade Runner game. Joined by these lovely people who are going to be our Blade Runners. One of them is about half a person left after getting exploded on. Before we get started, as always, this is an adult-themed stream, which means there will be some topics that are not suitable for people under 18. You have been warned, because no child has ever watched anything under 18 on the internet. They shouldn't be. So, let's start by getting to know our players and where they can find you. Echo.
I'm Echo, playing Echo Jones. I'm a fresh Blade Runner, joining the team here. So far, we've lost someone, and some of it was due to a plan that I suggested. But the new guy seems pretty cool, so can't wait to get to know him. You can find me in Cybernation Uncensored Discord. I'm always floating around, posting some pictures from a recent comic store visit I made, but I'll see you around.
Shockman.
Yes. Hi, guys. I'm Michael Shockman. I am playing Lieutenant George Stone, the new, I don't know, I hesitate to use the term leader, but I guess officially in the world, on paper, I am the leader now of the squad. And you can find me here on Sundays. You can find me over on Twitch at my own channel at DM Shockman. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. More about that at the end of the show. But yes, and now we need to figure out if George is going to live after being blown it up.
George Lee.
Hi, I'm George Lee. I play Evie, or Evie 1-9.3. She is a replicant, doxy, also a rookie on the Force, but I guess not as much of a rookie as our new guy. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube at George Lee with 2 eyes.
And Nolan.
Hey guys, I'm Nolan North. Today, actually, I guess you can find me on Instagram at Nolan_North. You can also find me in the CNU Discord, running Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland with a recurring player, George Lee. She plays Heather G. I'm the Neon Lord for that thing, and we have a great time. Session 0 was last week. Session 1 will be starting this Tuesday, same time this show starts. So if you're tuning in and you got some free time on Tuesday, tune in. Throw some +2s at the players or -2s for them. And let there just be a lot of chaos. It's quite the introduction to that game. I hope you guys enjoy it. And today I play, Elijah Payne. What a character. I come in and just immediately show off. And now I saved our asses from a bomb. Well, I saved my own ass from a bomb. George will be okay.
Thank you for doing the recap for me. So, 2 of you went to a warehouse, a bomb blew off, and now half of George's back has been singed. Which means we can pick up right where we left off, which is the 2 of you having dove away from an exploding room inside the old defunct Tyrell building. How's it looking?
I like seeing the explosion happen, looking at George, medical training kicks in. I like rush over to him, assess the area first, make sure we're not a target for anybody else, and then can I do an observation roll there just to see if there's anything that I notice out of the ordinary? Because if there was a bomb, maybe somebody was waiting to...
Right, go ahead. Since you still have your bearings, because you weren't caught in the fire portion of that bomb's blast. At this point, George just stopped dropping and rolling.
Success and a failure there.
The failure's alright, as long as you don't push. Place is empty. It looks like it was just rigged for anyone who would try. but everything else around here recently broken into, bombed. This wasn't an ambush, this is a rigging. It indicates someone who didn't know when someone would show up, just prepared for it. So for now, generally safe.
Generally safe. I pat George. George, you okay? You okay, George?
Yeah. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Thanks for that, Elijah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I couldn't spot it earlier. I just caught it out the corner of my eye.
Nah, I appreciate it. I should have been more careful. I just walked right in there like a fucking rookie.
Oh no,
Oh,
we
did
lost
we-
Echo. Oh, there's Echo. Breaking the fourth wall.
Oh no! And now the cameras are all. off.
Uh-oh.
I'm Echo now.
Hi, Echo.
My Discord gave out.
I'm not gonna rearrange that because that's gonna be pain to fix. But anyway,
Yeah, there we
go
go.
on.
There we go.
There we go. We're gonna switch back.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, I was like,
I realized I couldn't. Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
George.
was saying, nah, walked in like a fucking rookie. I should have kept my wits about me. I need to be more careful. Can't have our team losing 2 LTs in 2 weeks. That would be bad for business.
It'd be better for newspapers, eh? Well, I mean, fucking replicants.
George will legitimately like put his hand as he's on the ground as the fire's been put out. He'll put his hand up to ask you to pull him up.
With the rifle, I just with the sling, I like hand you the butt of the rifle so you have something to grip on, and I like pull you up with all my might.
Yeah, and which is it's a bit of a thing because he's a big guy, and he just as he stands up and dusts himself off, he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Thanks, Doc."
I don't know. I didn't want to touch you. I didn't want bad luck, but now we're in the shit together, eh?
Exactly.
This is your first shift, and it got interrupted. So what else would you like to do?
Continue forward inside, because we're here for one more time. We were here for some data logs.
Yeah, through the memory area.
Anything we could find in the memory area, and I thought we had just walked into the memory area, and that's what got blown up.
Yeah, that's the problem. When you guys move forward, there's nothing left of the memory banks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
The wheel. Shit.
That's why it was a targeted assault when you start looking around. Like, people didn't know when someone would come by, but they kind of expected someone might.
Why would they wait so long, I asked Stone? Maybe let's look into the forensics of this shit, and maybe we can see something through the ashes.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. Can I make? Would it be an observation or an insight check to try and look around to see if I could find any type of blasting, like to find the remnants of the device that did the blast?
Device, that would be tech.
Would it be tech? Okay.
Can I assist him?
Or
Yes.
can I assist? Can I assist Elijah in doing it? Because I'm pretty sure he has a better tech than I do.
Sure. Elijah can have advantage.
Awesome. Does scientist apply here?
Yes, it will.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay. Let's crit.
Yep. That was a very good idea.
So the two of you are searching this room. It's been completely destroyed. Some parts of it are still on fire. There's whatever the bomb that was used, Elijah can immediately tell it had both an explosive component, and it probably had something that's causing these fires, because metal wires and the like, they don't typically stay on fire this long after the explosion, if it was just a frag explosion type. You also, Elijah, can smell a very specific smell that is only familiar to people who are, for one reason or another, used to such chemicals. But you can pinpoint a particular chemical that was probably used as a blasting agent. It's almost sulfuric in the sense that it smells like rotten eggs. And once you start rummaging around, there are a few bits and pieces of what you imagine were a triggering mechanism, or at least the thing that the tripwire would have been attached to that you spotted, that would have pulled the metaphorical pin on this IED. But everything here seems to suggest an IED that's homemade, meaning they didn't need illegal items. They didn't need to smuggle anything high-tech. But whoever made it is familiar with rigging something, basically taking a bunch of crap, putting it together and rigging it into making it a very effective explosive. It's not just, hey, tripwire, you open it, it explodes. It looks to you like it was made with a very sophisticated hand. So someone used regular household items, made a bomb, which a lot of people are capable of, but the rigging is what makes it seem so sophisticated. Like, it was designed to do this. It would have been very hard to disarm it. So it would be, based on your understanding, Elijah, it would have been very difficult to disarm this thing if you tried. You would need a full bomb squad. It's not just a typical IED setup. But the materials used are not something you can trace from illegal black market goods. These are household items you could put together if you had the time and effort.
What a note. We got professional bomb maker. Yeah, what are the odds that this links back to those professional bomb makers that put those bombs in those bodies back at the hospital? I read about that case.
I was thinking the same thing, but more than that, I was thinking they knew we were coming.
Oh, yes.
We've got a leak.
Somebody out there. It looks like we need to keep reports close and our friends closer, hey?
Yeah. Well, I do you want to take a look around more of this place to see if we can find anything else, or do you just want to head back? Because I can't, the whole purpose for us being here is gone, so,
well, it's, everything is burnt, right? There's,
exploded.
None of the tech, there's no...
Exploded, burnt. Some metals are melting, but I don't know, depends if you think you're good enough, or if you think you can find someone good enough to restore, because these are computers, right? And these are databases. So inside of those hard cases would be their drive. I mean, there's probably no saving those drives, but if you want to bag them and see if the LAP can do anything about it. But
George will
looks like there's not much.
George will look directly at Elijah and say, Elijah, I've heard that generally for places like this, and you would know more about this than I would, but generally in databases like this, while there may be individual data banks in individual places, there's usually always at least one central backup deeper into a facility that's more guarded against just the same thing. Do you think that's what do you think? Do you think that's probably something they might have here? I don't know how far back that practice goes.
I'm going to defer to the GM for that one. In terms of here,
what you know, and sorry, what is your tech score? Not roll, just
my tech
score?
is
C.
Just a flat roll to see. Yep.
Then you can try to roll. It's not high enough to know it fast. What was that? 2. Wow, okay. The problem with those main backups is the blackout kind of wiped them. So
That's kind of what I was thinking.
they've mostly been erased already. What you would get is post blackout, but that's long beyond L's time. That's long beyond anything that you need, because those would have been created after. So you don't really have any backups to work on. They probably dumped the old server already. Your best hope are the drives that are still here, but again, they're all either partially melted, fully melted. Like, you're not even sure you could fix them up to read, but maybe someone can.
Looks like we must you must spend a little bit of time disassembling this shit. Maybe there's one of these drives survived this whole explosion.
Sure. I mean, yeah, not a problem. Might as well come back. It's better than coming back empty-handed.
So for your first shift,
At least.
you put out fires and save whatever only partially melted drives. See if anything can be done with it. Meanwhile, do either of you tell Evie and Echo that you just went through an explosion?
I would probably message. I'd probably message Evie and be like, give her a call on the holo and be like, "Hey Evie, the new guy is worth his weight in gold.
Why?
He
What
just
happened?
saved my ass from a bomb."
Did you not also just get injured and just recovered.
Yeah.
Shush.
Why did you? Was it something that you just couldn't catch?
I walked in like a fucking. We can talk more about it over drinks tonight with the team. Anyway, he saved my ass. I'm okay. I'm gonna be hurting in the morning, but I'm okay. Unfortunately, the bomb, it looks like, was rigged not only to be anti-personnel, but also to be a fail-safe in case anybody tried to come and do exactly what we were doing. What we were trying to do. We're trying to salvage any kind of drives that we might be able to get to read, but it's looking like it was probably going to be a dead end on our end here. Have you had any luck?
Yeah, we actually did have quite a bit of luck. I don't remember what all we found last week.
I recall we should have
the
one
clerk
left.
while I searched up the files.
Yes.
And then we commented on how the person was just as human as she was a replicant.
Gave new meaning to the word android.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we know what all we found, or did we just grab and
I believe you haven't had the time to read it. You copied it.
Okay.
Because there was
Okay.
enough time to fully read the thing.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
It's like, I think, yeah, Echo was able to get some information. We just don't know what it is just yet, but we can meet back up at the precinct and see what was on the
All right.
files.
Do me a favor. Ask before we get back. Ask Echo and think of this yourself. What are you guys feeling tonight? Because frankly, if we're going to war, as it seems like we are, like the new chief is wanting us to do, I think that celebrating whenever we get the chance after a day we survive, at least a little bit, might not be a bad idea. Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's for certain.
So, find out from Echo. Think about it yourself. Food's on me tonight, and we'll see you there in a little bit. Okay.
Good.
Out.
Food's on him. We're going to Five Guys.
Perfect.
There's only 4 of them in this timeline.
5 guys,
Four guys?
There's only
5
4 of
guys,
them now.
wormers and flies.
One of them was a replicant. So, second shift. What's the divide looking like? Because remember, your data, technically, you can send it off to the LAPD with a promotion point to have someone else look at it. The problem is you don't know who's going to be looking at it and whose pocket they belong to. Because you did get this semi-illegally.
And I got the copies of from the file storage. I'm going to give those to Elijah as well to do with what he wants.
Okay.
So you guys want to meet up in the headquarters? Elijah will do the scanning himself.
Yeah.
That would be a great idea, I think. That way we can keep him from prying eyes for now.
What about the others? You got your second time here. Elijah, while they're deciding, please make a tech roll. Use all this data. Oh, sorry. What about the melted drives? Because you can't look at this and fix those.
Priority would be I have drives that are accessible, so I'm going to look at the ones that Echo handed me, and then I'll focus on the burnt ones.
So you won't have anyone else do it.
I'm going to spend the second shift getting patched up.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to, because I'm assuming, now that we're back at the precinct, we've kind of discussed, and maybe George has brought up that he thinks that there's a leak in the precinct. So I'm going to spend some time digging around and see if there's anyone who knew that we were going to the memory bank.
George, you can heal 1 health for getting patched up. Elijah's made the roll for Evie. You have 2 options.
You're like where the line of communication, like how that's communicated out. Like who's in that line of information?
Or like who knew you were going to that place? I was gonna say that there's 2 ways Evie can go about this. You can roll connections, but you will have disadvantage because you're a replicant and no one wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Or you can roll tech, and it'll be a normal roll. And that's basically 2 different sets of information there. That's either hearing from the grapevine, which can be secondhand information, but you might get a name out of it, or looking through comm logs and hoping that you can hide that. But if you can't, you're going to be questions to why you're accessing those logs, because everything you do in the LAPD is going to be seen and recorded. So both carry some risks and some benefit. Either a name or direct communication.
I think just character-wise, that Evie would go with the connections, because she's more of like a people person than a tech savvy.
Okay.
And so I think we'll do the disadvantage connection.
If I recall, there should be at least 1, but I think there were 2 advantages or +2s floating around, so I'm gonna go with 2. If you'd like to use one to cancel it out.
Yeah, I'll use 1 to cancel out the disadvantage.
Just a regular roll, and
I'm gonna
if
push.
you push, that's a stress.
I know.
If you push again,
oh no. I have 1, right?
You have 1, but you rolled a second unicorn, which means that's an additional point of stress. You can use the +2 to mitigate, or otherwise you are broken by the stress.
Can I origami?
Yes, you can origami with every shift.
I can help out?
Okay. You'll have 1. You can do the other roll if you like, because both of those will give 2 different kinds of information. Both could be potentially useful.
I was gonna say I see her just falling flat with her in the precinct. I walk by drinking my coffee and see her doing her investigation, and
no one's talking to me.
You
can just kind of be like,
There is a +2. So if you would like to make another roll so that Echo can be free to do the other side of it, it would still be the straight roll.
Wait, it would be a straight roll. Oh, because I would use the +2?
Yeah, you'd be using the last +2 to make another roll. Basically redo the roll. It'll be your last advantage, but depends how much you think this information is, how useful you think this information is.
I think it's pretty useful. Okay. I'll do it again.
Ooh, better than being broken.
Push that as a replicant. There you go. And not even broken by that stress. Alright.
The law of statistical averages is your friend.
This is what's causing you stress.
And like shooting electricity.
I'll get back to you when I get to everyone else. Echo. Evie seems to have a partial handle on this. Like, she's not very well liked, but she's getting information regardless. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna walk up and just say, kind of take off, like kind of pick up where she was like going for, in the sense of she's trying to figure out who's in the line of command, like who's in the information corridor, who could have seen what was happening, because we're Blade Runners, we're not just normal cops. Someone's in the loop, like she said. So I'm gonna pick up and I'm gonna say, just walk up and say,
what's that?
Same thing what I just said. I'm gonna say, well, like, who gets the information? Where does it come from? I mean, who's communicating who? Is there a single operator? She's got a point. We got to have some OPSEC around here. And I'm just gonna like ask if there's like an operator room, or who's passing messages. Like, in the sense of, if it goes to our commander and then goes to us, it's got to be documented someplace.
For your ship,
what kind of OPSEC are we doing here?
There is an operations
room. Kind of water cooler.
There is an operations room.
Sorry,
but if you access it, there will be people who will know that you're accessing. Like, again, everything you do within the LAPD will always be known. That's the reason most Blade Runners prefer not to get their equipment from there, or not to buy their weapons from there. And they only use it when there's no risk of anything leaking. So you can go there, but you risk being spotted. Not sure if it's me, but Echo's got a bit of a delay on.
I'm seeing it too.
Yeah.
On my camera?
On your audio too.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, sorry.
I think it's better now. But while you're doing that, roll your tech. If you really want to look through those logs.
Tech, here we go.
Yep. And we'll get to the others. Let's start with Elijah. When you comb through the drive, obviously it's encrypted. Also, obviously, it's not much of a problem for you. It's just Wallace Corp encryption, broken in about an hour. You go through it. You go through their information. It feels like you've done this before, strangely. But once you go through it, a lot of this information has been manually erased. Meaning someone with clearance from Wallace, meaning someone extremely high up, has erased this information and even erased the logs of them logging in to do it. The only reason you're able to tell that information was erased is by just going down to the base code of everything and realize that something's missing. Something was manually taken out, and then tracks were covered to an irrecoverable degree. But information here has been missing specifically on the year 2032.
2032. Okay.
That year specifically, all of this information has been completely wiped, which is the same year that you found out through memories of something called a doll hunt, and this potentially the same year L was created. The interesting thing with the information, again, is that it had to have been erased by someone who is inside with extremely high clearance. This is not something you can hack your way through. Even you couldn't do that by hacking. You need to have a specific level of clearance. Right around the level of Wallace and just slightly below.
Okay.
Top executive level. No one else is going to have this kind of ability or access to do this. But unfortunately, that's all the information you find. Through combing all of this, everything else is not pertinent to what you're doing. They're just replicant creation logs, and none of the replicants are unaccounted for. And these are all non-released replicants, meaning they were created to be studied, and then they were properly disposed of, quote-unquote, because the replicant ban was still on. So whilst they didn't release them, they were preparing for the creation of the Nexus 9. These are prototypes that they made, studied, released, did not release. So none of these are things you don't expect to see. And all of these have been reported. It's just that 1 year, we've had information that's been deleted. Now, because of how high you rolled, and that I believe that was at least 3 successes or 2, there's one other piece of information. 3, okay. There's one other bit of information you are able to recover. The date they were deleted. It is the same date that Neander Wallace Sr. died. That's when they were all deleted.
Can you,
So you
get just for remembering? When did Neander Wallace die again?
In 2032. Same month, same day, the exact day that he died. That's when these things were deleted.
Gotcha.
You can't find a timestamp on it anymore. Again, this already stretched what you can do with it, but you do find the exact date. And it was deleted on the same day. For reference, if you can probably go through old files, Neander Wallace Sr. died in the evening. Time of death was approximately around 7 and 7:30 p.m. So you don't know when this was deleted, but you know it was the same day, and you know when Neander Wallace Sr. died. That's the most you're gonna get out of this drive. For Evie, the reason you have all this stress coming out is, well, one, no one likes replicants around here, especially other Blade Runners. The replicant Blade Runners don't have any information for you because they're not told anything. And you can tell that on their faces, so you're forced to deal with the humans who don't like you. And 2, it takes every bit of mental restraint that you have not to shoot someone when they basically flat out tell you to your face that Lance is probably dead because you didn't do your job. Because again, no one likes you. And it takes every bit of mental restraint in you not to react to that. And dragging your... it's pushing your patience to its limit. But there's one guy, the tech guy that Lance introduced you to before. The one he used to hire, who does TSI. And some tech stuff for him, who does answer you. Hey, probably shouldn't be saying anything, but I heard you can see he's twitchy. His right leg keeps tapping on the ground, like heel tap with the toe stuck on the floor. It was there was another Blade Runner who I overheard talking about Comlog. It was a little weird. Blade Runners don't typically care about that shit. But he was going around asking about the comm log, and it was just odd. Blade Runners don't typically care about comm logs when it relates to the orders Blade Runners are given. He said that he forgot his orders and he needed to check the comm. It was also odd. It was Reese. Walter Reese. And he just looked down. He was saying this super quietly. He's clearly jumpy.
Thank you for trusting me with this information. No one will know that you said it. All right.
I figured if it wasn't you, it would have been Lance asking me. He stops being twitchy and looks down like he's also sad about it. One of the few guys who actually treated me with any respect around here.
Yeah, he was one of the good ones.
That's all I know. It was just weird.
Thank you.
Just nods at you, and this will. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, well, thank you so much. Like louder.
Yep.
Thank you so much for helping me out with this case. Like I am so bad at tech, so lifesaver. Thank you so much.
He takes your hand and shakes it. Like, yeah, no problem. Anytime you need anything. Look, you leave and this will feed into Echo's search. Because now he doesn't have to take as much time. Or he's been taking time looking through the logs. Now you can actually look for a specific person.
Yeah, I'll just on the hollow, you're looking for Reese.
Can you guys understand my mic just fine now?
Yeah,
Also,
and you're not lagging anymore.
Good. I don't know what it was. I just closed a few programs, the browser tab. Oh yeah, so I'll just type it in. Reese. I'll just start typing away. See what I find. I think I rolled already.
He has basic comms. He certainly did not come to the comm room to look back at his own log, unlike what he said. He went here, and you can even see that he either didn't or forgot to or doesn't know how to cover up what he was doing. After all, Blade Runners weren't trained to be tech people. But he was basically in here looking through the four of you. He didn't find anything because your orders weren't logged here. Meaning the police chief didn't bother logging your command. Probably out of fear something like this would happen. So what you have is someone spying on you, but he didn't have the information he needed.
So either he kept looking and did find it, but this wasn't it.
Yes. It's one of those.
Can I have come back from the thing by this point?
Yeah, but this again ends everyone's second shift.
Gotcha.
So, what do you guys want to cover now? After spending all of the time doing this.
I want to work on those destroyed drives. Hopefully, I have some success with those. And with George, I kind of like after working on the first set of drives, I go over to George, report my findings, and say, I don't know what this kind of shit we got involved in, but people are God, they're erasing things that they shouldn't be erasing, and they're touching things that they shouldn't be touching, and I do not like it. But let's do some food, and then maybe I can look at these bed drives over here, huh?
Yeah, I think that, tell you what, Doc, go ahead and start working on, get the drives prepped, get the drives prepped and see if you can make any progress on it. I'm taking us all out for dinner tonight. You'll eat well, but I want us to get as much done as we can today as possible.
You got it, boss.
All right, thanks, boss. And George will actually, I would like George to be able to do two things on this shift, because now that he's Papa George, kind of, he's Don Stone, as it were. He's gonna go over to I almost did it again. He's gonna go over to Evie's desk. He's gonna go over to Evie's desk, see how stressed she is, and then just be like, "Hey, you need a smoke?"
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, come on. He will take her out to just stating what I want to do first off. He wants to do that with her, find out why she's so stressed specifically, and instead of trying to fix it himself, he is going to we can get to that in roleplay. And then after that, he's going to go to Echo, and he's going to tell him what was it that Echo was doing again? You said that it was the thing, you found the thing, Echo, about Walter, or whatever his name was, Walter Reese.
Yeah, I found out that he went into the where the records, communications, like all that kind of stuff is kept, and
Okay.
he did not find our mission stuff, but he was looking for our stuff.
Okay. The second thing George will do is he will go to Echo, or he will go to the chief, ask him for permission to handle an internal situation, and then very bluntly go over to Reese's office and fucking just stare him down. And those are the two things I'm doing. I will let the DM handle it for whenever the time comes with those two things.
What everyone else? Third shift before you have to start taking a break.
Is there any way to check for bugs? Is that a system in this game?
That's a good question, right?
You can check for bugs. It's a matter of where.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that's like a mechanic in the game.
Well, you can look. Just need to know where. Just need to know where you're looking.
I'm gonna do a once over with some kind of electronic like scanner or something like that. I like to check the two spinners that we normally use. I narratively, I think we're using the same spinners each time. Like we're assigned one, or if we pull one for the lot, I'm not sure.
Your spinner had to be replaced because you got the battery blown out.
Yeah.
By L.
Yeah, I want to check that the two spinners that we normally use if we do have assigned ones. I want to check the flask that I was given. I want to check see if I can check the chief's office.
Okay. You can start moving around and scanning everything that you can scan. Let
me do
that's tech.
Tech?
Yep.
Here we go again. Failed, but I'm gonna push it only because I kind of think something's going on. If he didn't get the information there, he got it somehow, and I think he might have just gotten more desperate. And when desperate people get sloppy, so let's see what happens.
Oh,
that's a stress.
Oh no!
That's it. I slip on some coffee by the break room.
We should be out of bonuses. Evie used it to re-roll, so we're at 0, so that's what it has to be. You do start looking, you just don't find anything. And as far as you can tell, your detector is working just fine. Everything is as it is. Oh, Miserable Junkie gave a +2. Would you like to use it now?
I say we bank it.
Okay. So unfortunately, Echo doesn't find any bugs or anything around the area. What about Evie and Elijah? And another +2
I
from
was working on
Birdzilla.
the. Thank you, Birdzilla. And
Oh,
thank
you want to
Miserable
work on the
Junkie,
broken
but I was
drives?
working on those- Yeah, on the broken drives. Yep. So
And
I'm
a
gonna do
third
that
from
tech
Miserable
roll.
Junkie.
Oh my gosh. Thank you,
Okay.
Junkie.
We have
So-
nothing, and then we have all of them.
Do a tech roll for
And then
the broken drives, right? And
I was just gonna say, as I'm working on the second drive, you know, just like I've been looking at a computer screen all day, and I just like when nobody looks, I just kind of like reach into my pocket and pull out the little experience and just, you know, and just continue on with my merry day as I roll this tech roll.
push it.
Oof.
Great.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Experience for the win.
And for Evie.
Okay, one, I'm gonna origami again because I can do it once per shift.
Yep. Take a stress
I'm
back.
gonna origami, get my stress back. And gosh, trying to think. So, what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask, did we want to role play that smoke break?
I just need to know what Evie's doing
or
first.
what I want to do
Okay.
for my shift.
Okay.
Okay, so Echo, you were looking for like bugs in the chief's office.
Yep.
Okay.
Spiders, cockroaches. Apparently, with my role, that's what I was looking for.
Do we know if, like, I'm sorry if this was already asked. Do we know if the precinct has trackers on our cars?
They do.
Yes.
They do.
Yes. The
The
official.
GTA acts as
The
a
official
tracker.
vehicles.
The official vehicles, which I'm assuming we took.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a way that if someone has access, like, is there a log for who has looked up like our particular cars?
There would be. Although that is information you can't prepare for. Like it's not gonna tell you where you're gonna go. It just tells you where you are at the moment.
Yeah. That's true.
But there is a log for it. So you can use that to confirm if someone's watching you.
I wouldn't say how they knew that we were going to be there, unless it was just a really good guess. I mean,
Well, they had to plant a bomb, right? So they would have to know before we got there. So could it be something related to who gave the order? Like they would have to know before the order was given. Like maybe the tip, like who gave the tip or the informant?
I remember very specifically that when I investigated the razor wire at the top of the thing, the barbed wire at the top of the fence that was outside of the thing, it looked like it had been bent, and there had been a piece of like stuff to basically jump the fence.
Yeah.
And then it looked, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like it had been about a week.
Yep.
Because and so whatever happened around, if not on the same day that that Holden and Lance were killed.
Went down. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Around the same general timeline.
My money is on this is Agents of L.
Okay.
And I was gonna say, and George would just be like, I've got my own theories, but that's not something we can discuss here.
Okay, so with that being said, I am still going to check in on the logs just to see if there is someone watching us, if we can confirm that it's Reese, or if there's maybe more than just
Okay. So
Reese.
that'll be your tech. Also,
tech.
I need if I have I already asked a tech from Elijah? Yeah. Okay. There's
Yes, you did.
Elijah's. That's your tech. That's fine. Have I made? All right, Echo failed. Okay. So if you want to speak to Evie, George, feel free.
Yes. So George will bring you out, and he will put up, just by habit, he will put up his anti-listening device and pull out his he will pull out his not a pack of cigarettes. He will actually pull out a small little wooden case with which inside of it you see that there are not big ones, but there are little tiny cigars that he has, and he says, these were my dad's, and frankly from what I remember of him, he was a good guy, but I can't usually smoke a whole one of these. Do you want to share one with me?
Sure.
Okay. These are basically the modern equivalent of Cuban cigars, and they taste very much of vanilla, and they're nutty and they're vanilla-y, and they have honey tasted to them. They're basically the fancy version of a Swisher Sweet, kind of about the same size. He lights up one of them, and he takes it, and he says, "Whatever you do, don't inhale." And he'll just puff on it a little bit and hand it to you, and he says, and he'll hand it to you, and there you go. And as that's happening, he'll pull out his flask and take a little bit of a drink, and he'll be like, "So, what the fuck has what?" And he'll look with a very blatantly forced smile. He'll be like, what has been going on that had you so stressed? I have not seen you that stressed outside of a combat situation in the entire time I've worked with you."
Well, I was looking into the potential leak, and there were some other Blade Runners who, well, I mean, I can handle. I know that there's a huge amount of people who don't like me here, and that's fine. It is what it is. I can handle that. What I can't handle is people who weren't at the food processing plant telling me that me and my team didn't do our jobs protecting Lance. And they have literally no idea what the situation was like or what we did.
George hearing this, he's about to take a sip from his flask. His smile goes from this to
yeah. So
and he will pull out his KIA. He will tap a couple of buttons on it, tap in a brief message, and send it off.
Before you send that, like, he was gonna stop you. Before you send anything, I don't know what you're gonna send, but if you're gonna try and get those officers in trouble or anything like that, please just don't, because that's only gonna put a bigger target on my back. I'm the one that they said this to.
I'm not gonna send it out. I'm not sending it out. I'm not sending it. Player is having trouble getting thoughts out. What he's basically going to try and tell you is that he's not approaching it like a disciplinarian. He's approaching it like a Blade Runner, and that essentially is he's not going to mention it. He doesn't mention it in the message. He'll even show you the message. What it says is, you have mandatory combat training at 9:00 tomorrow morning. Pads off. Instructor to be assigned later, and he then he says, this is mandatory. You'll be there, and he will not send it until you give him approval. And he says, do you want to be their instructor?
These aren't rookies, mind you. They don't have to attend.
Even then,
no.
Look, I appreciate what you're trying to do, I do. It's just, I don't think that that's gonna really make me feel any better. I mean, they're just idiots. You know, as much as I want to kick their teeth in, I think that the better, more fulfilling thing would be to figure out what's going on and get L.
You will see George hit the delete button on the message, put his KI away, and say, okay. They take a long drag of that cigar, and he'll be like, by the way, did your during that fight, I never asked, but did the flask I got you make it through?
I think so.
Out of character, there was a shot during that fight where you got blasted in the chest, and my headcanon was that the flask stopped it.
Oh. I wouldn't have kept my flask near my shoulder because it was a shoulder shot.
Okay. Gotcha.
My flask would be like on my hip.
Okay. A literal hip flask.
Yeah, exactly.
And he'll be like, did you happen to keep it? Is it still
my flask? Yeah.
Okay.
It's right here. Like she has it. She has it on her.
He'll ask for it, and he'll say, "Can I?"
Sure.
Do we have
here,
it?
let me dump it.
No, don't dump it yet.
Oh.
Don't dump it yet. And he will actually ask, "May I?" And he'll, if you give him permission, he'll take it off. He'll smell it first and see what's in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's I think it was some of the stuff that Lance had.
Okay, so the stuff that the stuff that he refilled it with, or the stuff that Lance had in his desk?
The stuff that he refilled it with.
Oh, so you had it with some Johnny Walker Blue.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what it was.
And he will kind of be there. Anyway, there'll be some more pleasantries and everything like that, and then he'll kind of pat you on the back and say, "You good? You gonna be okay?"
Yeah, I'll be fine.
And if this ever happens again and you can't handle it, you come to me, okay? It's my job now. And I will at the very least punch the living shit out of anybody who fucks with my team, regardless of where they come from.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you're doing a good job. Lance will be proud.
Thanks.
I know I am.
If you go
He'd
to
be proud of you too.
You think so?
I do. I know.
You could ask him.
Thanks.
if you go to no engrams here. If you go to the chief, the only thing he will tell you is that if this escalates, it's on your shoulders.
Okay.
This is a top. This is not disciplinary, and you do not have any authority to arrest him. And also know that if you do confront him, there's a very real risk that if he is a plant, then Wallace will know. And he gives you a look of, you're asking me to protect your sister? Don't make it harder for me.
Yeah, George will kind of be like, damn it. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for starting to teach her how to shoot. I appreciate it.
It's not.
I hope she's been learning quickly.
They can do it pretty well. Surprisingly.
Good.
I think the chair also gives her extra balance.
Yeah. I had heard one of the techs when she came to work a couple of years ago with me. They kind of joked about giving her hidden machine guns inside of that thing, considering that it's powered. And I honestly, at this point, with everything that's going on, don't know if that would be such a bad idea to try and look into.
There's one thing. I can teach your sister to shoot. I can teach her to defend herself. I can teach her everything she needs to know. I can put a damn automatic rifle. controlled by her mind on her chair. I can't teach her to use it. She's not meant or built to kill people, even when her life is being threatened.
I know.
I can see it in her eyes.
That's why she has me. She's not a... George will look very, He'll take off his shades and he will say, she's not the killing type, she's the defending type. She, you could say that because of something that she did for me when we were kids, it's a big reason why I'm a Blade Runner today.
I'll keep us safe. Just keep your head down to unnecessary risks.
Okay. I'll do what I can to make your job easier, okay, Chief?
None of the orders I give you are logged anywhere. And they won't be.
Thank you for that.
I'll handle this. I'll find out what he's up to.
Okay. I appreciate it.
He'll let you go, but if you don't want to do anything else with your shift, you can spend it giving Evie a point of stress back.
I will do that. I'll do that.
So Evie can take 1 point of stress back. Yeah, Echo?
If my action, like later on, I assume we're communicating with some of this kind of stuff. In regards to, he says he's going to handle Reese. I was going to follow Reese after work in my car and just see what's going on, just tail him. But can I also, I want to hang back and find out if Reese and the chief are going to communicate, and where, if they do, where Reese goes afterwards.
Just remember, everything you do in the LAPD is monitored, or at least is logged. So if you tail him, whoever's logging here can also find out that someone's tailing him. Sorry, if you're tracking him.
Yeah, I'm gonna tail Reese after work. But I just gonna do it in the whatever. I'm gonna tail Reese after work. But while going about in the station, I'm gonna just try to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm kind of in the area to find out if the meeting between Chief and Reese does happen.
For the rest of his shift, it does not. But Chief does leave the office, and he goes out telling his secretary that he's going to meet some contact. So he's actually leaving the LAPD after a few minutes of talking with Stone.
I'm gonna hold off because I think my loyalty towards the chief is pretty strong right now. But I am gonna keep an eye on Reese. Just make sure if he does leave, I'm gonna find an excuse and just casually leave with him, and then use my expert professional driving skills to try to come.
The issue is, you are entering the 4th shift now. If you do tail him, it will cost you a stress for every shift that you don't take a downtime from this point. Are you okay with that, to tail him?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm kind of, this feels like, yeah.
Yeah, take a point of stress and roll me your driving.
So you're bailing on team dinner, you little bastard.
He's gonna have to.
You know, I'm just gonna. If this thing takes all night, if not, maybe I'll make it back before appetizers are finished. But maybe he's just gonna go home and nothing's gonna happen. But if the chief left and maybe he's leaving, maybe they're gonna talk. I don't know. I'm just gonna casually follow.
All right. You're gonna roll your driving and add another A die and take a stress.
You mean the resolve?
Yeah, on your resolve. You'll take a point of stress, which goes to your resolve. Then roll driving, and then add an A die to it, because that's the maneuverability of your car. We're entering the 4th shift, and Echo is not joining you for dinner.
I'm so sorry, and this may have been while all the L talk was happening in the chat. Did we ever say if my tech search resulted in anything?
Oh, sorry, I haven't gone to it. That's my bad.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay, thank goodness. I was afraid I
That also
missed
goes
it.
for Elijah. Sorry, that's my bad. Elijah, first, you can't restore most of this drive. It is impossible. But you can extract bits and pieces of data and essentially run it through an algorithm to fill in the missing pieces as best you can before, without, giving you something wild and a massive goose chase. And it takes a lot of effort and hours of you sealed away from everyone else as you're fixing this. This is a question I need to ask you. Do you use LAPD resources, which would mean that you can restore more of it, but the LAPD now has a log of what you've restored? Or do you use your own tools, which means you restore less of it, but there's no track, there's no metaphorical paper trail to follow?
I'm gonna keep this down on the down low, mainly because I don't know who I can trust at the moment. The only people that I can actually trust are the 4 members of my team. Otherwise, I can't really trust anybody else. 4 members being the chief, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Less information. Okay. So when you restore it with the basic tools that you do have, and not with LAPD resources, there's not much information to gather. What you do have is dates for 2032, which means there were replicants created in 2032 illegally that were not part of the research and development phase that Wallace was doing, because the one Wallace does is in their own labs. They created them with research and development. It was not illegal, and they were never released. The ones made here, not supposed to happen. They were made in the Tyrell lab, specifically, seemingly to bypass the laws against replicant creation, the ban on replicants. There were a number of them made, and they were the only ones made during that year, and they were the only ones made during the ban. From your perspective, you might have found where the dolls were made. And when.
Interesting.
And they were made... When these dolls were made, it was only 3 weeks before Neander Wallace Sr. died. 3 weeks prior to his death, that's when the dolls were made. And if you have the time when the dolls were made, then you obviously also have the time of the supposed doll hunt. So something within a month of this date of creation. At least you've narrowed the search, but you cannot get any more unless you find the appropriate tools that are not monitored by the LAPD.
Okay.
So,
okay. I have. I think I have a plan for
tools.
The following morning shift. Yeah.
I have. Just for the record, I have not given anyone promotion points under the assumption you are not reporting any of this. But do you want to report
it? That would be a big 10-4, Big Daddy.
Okay. So no logging of any of this evidence.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not
by
logging
the time
any
you
evidence.
have some time to talk to the chief one-on-one as a team without any logs, you can still get promotion points for that. But you have to be able to catch him, report everything manually. You can't log it to your KIA. So for Evie, remind me again, you were rolling for...
Oh, I was rolling to see if anyone has been pinging our particular spinners and locations, just to see if we can confirm that Reese has been keeping an eye on us, or if potentially there's another leak in the precinct.
You got 1 success, great.
Yes.
You have no logs of anyone tracking your official spinners by the LAPD.
Okay.
But you will come across a log of repair for the KIA on your spinners, during one of your downshift.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you use your spinners to go home and everything, right? You don't just leave in the garage unless you have a personal car, which I assume the only one who can afford one is George. So you have your spinners to go home, or you commute. Now, whether or not you use your spinners to go home or you commute manually, the point is that there's a log for repair, which means there were tools that were taken out of the LAPD, things for repairing the KIA within a car, and a skeleton key to open any of the sanctioned vehicles to allow access to the repairman. You don't recall your spinners ever being repaired or being sent to the garage, or a repairman ever coming saying they're going to check on your spinners.
Okay. Does it say who the repairman was in the log?
No, it only gives a badge number, not an RDU or not an LAPD badge, like a employee badge, a repair badge. If you look it up, again, this will also be logged as an activity on the Esper.
Yeah.
But you can look it up right now if you want.
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
You are looking at Jacob Anderson. It's a repair guy within the LAPD. At least you have the name of the badge.
Okay. Good to know.
So, when their shifts are over, Echo is passing on dinner because Echo is driving. So Echo, please roll your driving roll. Add an A dice to this.
I changed my background to match my driving scenario. Here we go.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do this.
Remember to add the A dice.
Oh, believe me, I did. Here we go. There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Critical.
I'm hanging back. I'm following them casual. I don't expect to find anything, but...
Well, you will find that you're not able to follow them all throughout because it's too dangerous. His spinner flies all the way to Wallace.
What?
After shift, he goes straight to Wallace Corp. And in fact, he doesn't land in the parking area. He lands on the helipad on the rooftop. Like a fucking VIP.
Are there any other like vehicles there of note that I would recognize?
Nope. Well, there's a helicopter. But otherwise his spinner lands on the roof.
Well, fuck. I just want to squish him.
Problem is, he could be unofficial business. There's always that fallback. Legally, I mean.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything to do else to do while I'm out here. If I'm. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait 15 minutes. I'm gonna wait just 10 minutes and just see if he leaves in 10 minutes or if he's there for a lot longer. And if he's not hasn't left in 10 minutes, I'm gonna go to dinner.
Okay.
I'll give it 15 minutes.
So, because you use your shift, it won't count as downtime if you had the dinner, but I will let you use one of the +2s to basically let it count, so you can still have your downtime if you like. You won't recover the stress. No, he's going to be there for longer than 15. He's not leaving. He's not leaving. Basically, if you're waiting only 10-15 minutes, he hasn't left.
All right, I'm gonna head back to dinner or whatever, even if I just arrive for dessert or drinks or whatever.
Do you want to?
Because I'm gonna tell everybody.
You want to take a +2 to count this as downtime, so you don't have to take stress tomorrow? There's 3 of them right now. Might be worth it.
No.
No? Okay.
No, I think I'm good. At the same time, though, I do want to communicate with everyone. I do want to kind of get back to dessert, even if it's the end of the meal.
Sure.
I want to tell everybody what I met because what I found out because outside of like precinct, we're not being monitored. So like these little meetings at dinner time is a good moment.
Sure. Then that just leaves the 3 of you. When you head out to dinner, Echo's not there. Do you want to talk about anything?
George will look to Elijah and Evie and be like, "What are you guys feeling tonight? We did noodles a bunch, and frankly, I don't have it in me to go to the same place that we were at out with Lance last.
Do you
we've
know
done
of any
pizza.
French?
We've done
French
pizza.
bistros?
Yes, there is. Do you like crepes, Elijah?
No, they're too sweet for me.
No,
Even the savory ones.
even the savory ones are too sweet for you.
It's bread. It's dessert. I don't like it.
George will kind
Elijah,
of be
sorry, Elijah's like super, like he's really, really fit. Like you can tell that like his whereas Lance was a little bit on the pudgier side, over here Elijah is like super duper thin, but it's probably because of all the experience that he does.
so whereas George is swole, Elijah is ripped.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Then George will kind of think to himself and be like, I think I know a place. They don't require. They're really slow these days, but yeah, and it should be pretty quiet there at this time on today. And he will have everybody meet him. He'll give him an address, and he'll have everyone meet him at PNP PNP Bistro and what would it be? PNP Bistro and Neo-European Eatery. Think kind of like a cross between Katz's Deli and like a traditional ethnic restaurant in like upstate New York or something like that. But this one specifically focuses on Italian and French cooking, but not French like fancy French. I'm talking French as in like down home cooking from France.
Like the one pot,
exactly.
like coq au vin, beef bourguignon type stuff. Yeah.
Comfort food.
Mhm.
And he's been here. George will have you all meet him there, and I'll throw it, DM or Nigel, if you want me to throw down a chinian, I can throw down a chinian for this to make sure that they use the real stuff.
For 3 people, that's going to cost 2. But yes.
For 4 people, because I'm gonna make a plate for. Even if he doesn't show up, I'm gonna make a plate for Echo. Okay.
I have a chinian that I can use. I have 5 right now, so
no, this is
I'm
on
so
me. This is on me. I told you that this was on me.
Okay.
Spend 2.
Okay.
There we go.
So
okay.
you guys talking about anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna be like, so George will in his traditional way will kind of tell you about the history of this place and to him, which he will convey that this was his parents' favorite place. This was actually where they met. His dad was working as a grocer here at the place, and his mom came in and blah 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 blah, love at first sight, sparks and everything like that, and this is one of their favorite places to go when he was a kid. And he'll say, now with that history lesson over, what did we find out on the particular matters which we were going into today?
Data drives, things were unaccessed or accessed illegally, deleted, removed. Data was rebuilt, not too much to clean. Yeah, and then going on, I kind of further relay everything. That way I don't have to rehash everything Nigel told me from the 2 data drives.
I found out that our cars, our spinners that we've been given by the precinct, were allegedly they underwent some kind of maintenance, even though I don't remember ever sending my car for maintenance or needing it. But there is a skeleton key that can get into all of our cars, and so gonna have a conversation with Jacob Anderson, someone who works in maintenance, tomorrow.
Do you want some help with that?
I mean, maybe, unless we need more things done.
Okay, you just let me know.
I'm pretty persuasive. It's just the Blade Runners don't really want to talk to me.
No, I got you. I'm a big guy, and I can be imposing, especially if I don't speak too much.
Well, I have my own way of imposing.
I know you do.
You've seen it.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I will. George will start blathering back and forth with Evie and with Elijah, telling Elijah about how Evie basically not only saved his life before, but also she basically stared down 3 guys with shotguns, kind of embellishing a little bit. 3 guys with shotguns dodged out of the way like in an Italian fat movie, and basically ended up punching out one, knocking out the other, and then choking out the other one to complete the case.
Everything you've been told about replicants being physically superior seems to be true now.
He's embellishing a bit, but kind of is what happened.
Well, it looks like we're a very well-rounded team around here. But what is this Echo guy?
Yeah, he is a little bit late. I would have thought he would have loved some good home cooking, and I'm imagining by this point they're probably bringing out the giant pot of stew with 3 whole, with each of us getting our own loaf of freshly made bread, just a pot in the middle of the thing so we can, and little bowls if we wanted to dish it out, and there's a bottle of wine that we can just pour into glasses for each of us. And I'll message Echo. I'll actually hit him up on my neural comms. And be like, hey, you okay? You're late for dinner.
Take out.
I'll say I'm about 5 minutes out. Get me coffee. Order me coffee. I'll be there in a second.
Okay, no wine?
Yeah, just coffee. I'm probably gonna be for coffee and dessert.
Okay.
All right.
See you at 5. And yeah.
Right around that time, again, once you guys eat, have your meal, Echo would be arriving. Right at the tail end of all the dinner. How does Echo look after what you saw? And, spending all this time on overtime.
Yeah, I'll say he's just like in chat we're talking about. I stopped by Taco Bell, got myself a dirty Mountain Dew Baja Blast while I was waiting, and watched him do that, throwing it around in my head, just trying to think how I'm even going to approach that. I'm going to walk up, just kind of shake my head and say, well, I think I'll sit down, grab my coffee, take a sip of it while it's still black, and then decide to put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cream in there. And say, well,
it's Turkish coffee. It's Turkish coffee.
I'm gonna. That must mean it's good.
It's it's already there are some European places that I, as a player that I've been to, do carry Turkish coffee.
That's the one they cook in the sand, right?
It's the one that they cook in the pan, and then they put in like butter and cream and honey and everything like that into it when they prepare it. It's like drinking sludge, but it is so tasty and so
But that's the one they cook in the sand, the hot sand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I hope that if I get any grit, I'll know it's not the coffee bean. It's the quality sand. I'll take a sip of it and just be like, it's good. And I'll say, well, just, I don't know, guys. It looks like wherever our suspicions will nod over at Evie. Yeah, it looks like it's. I tailed. What's his name? Elias?
Reese. Walter Reese.
Walter Reese. I tailed Walter afterwards. Sorry I was late, but he went to Wallace and he landed. He didn't even just land in the tourist section. He landed at the helipad next to the helicopters and shit. Like, he might be there on official business, but maybe that's official business we should confirm. I don't know if anybody spooked him. I didn't see this chief go talk to him before he left. Chief said he had a mission. I mean, he wanted to go meet a contact or something, but he said he was going to speak to Reese. That didn't happen, and now Reese went off to meet with Wallace.
Specifically, he said he was going to handle Reese.
Oh, said he was going to handle Reese, yeah.
George you guys will watch as George, hearing this, will tap his head twice. You'll see underneath his glasses a little bit of a slight light show up on his thing. He'll kind of twist his head back and forth a little bit, and he will what the party can't see is that he is actually sending an encrypted message to Walton Simons, asking him to monitor the goings on of Walter Reese at the headquarters.
This is a nice way to end before the break. You are going to get a response back, an automated one. It is a template message that says Walton Simons is no longer associated or affiliated with the Wallace Corporation. This number has been made defunct. That's where we're going on break. So, everyone who is watching, please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll continue off with wherever this is going to go and how this is going to end for everyone, depending on what they do. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. So, right before the break, George tried to talk to his handler about potentially what's going on within Wallace, to which he received an automated, templated message that says that Simons is no longer affiliated or working for the Wallace Corporation, and the number is no longer in use. How does that play out at the dinner now?
George will just kind of take off his glasses and tap his head twice again, and you'll see what was a data stream that was clearly over one of his eyeballs goes away, and he will, taking an empty glass, a larger empty glass, he will pour an entire full glass of wine, down it in one sip, and then say, fuck.
What?
Fuck what? What is wrong?
My connection to Wallace is no longer at Wallace.
Meaning?
And George will go specifically into the intricacies of everything that basically brought him into being a Blade Runner for the rest of dinner, and how he has basically been for lack of a better term, a sleeper agent in not like a negative, like a malevolent sleeper agent he's basically been a person who represented Wallace in the department, essentially. Not really a sleeper agent, I guess. But he was told the moment when he got his assignment that as long as his handler was still
active
on the case, was active, he was. And if his handler goes away and he isn't notified, and he doesn't get a replacement handler, he is essentially considered burned, which means that that bridge has been burned, and my access to all of my stuff, all of my resources that I had at Wallace is now gone.
Like your money?
No, my money's fine. I still get my money.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I just got a coffee.
No, I still have money. Don't worry. I have enough connections in the department that I can still keep on getting my money. But no, this was any information that I would have. He'll stop in mid-sentence and will say, damn it, I did it again. Fuck. Evie, you can throw away that piece of paper that I gave you.
Okay.
Because it's no longer going to work.
It was a security clearance.
It was a security. It was an access code and all that stuff. So, he will. You will see a kind of a shiver go up his spine, and he'll be like,
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Elijah here, like, there's that glass of wine that has been poured for everybody. Like, Elijah has not touched it at all. Like, he's just had his entire meal with water, and I like look at you, so I'm like, I feel bad for not drinking the wine you bought us, but it looks like you need this more than I do, and I just push it over to you with 2 fingers from the base.
He will happily down it in one go, not looking not intoxicated at all. And you will see that he is kind of just staring in one direction, just kind of doing the 1,000-yard stare, starting to slightly hyperventilate, and he does not seem to be doing well. Anybody on the team who's been on the team for a while knows exactly why. Because now his sister can't get her treatments.
Do you say that out loud to everybody else, or do you just like hold it on? Like,
If it's asked why I am
Panicking.
acting the way that I am, he would happily tell you.
Elijah, unfortunately, is a low empathy character, so a very big difference from Lance. So I just kind of look at you and say, "Listen, man, if you want to forget about it, I have some extra experience, and I can go home and make some more for myself. Would you like some experience?"
No, but thank you. He kind of will look at you. I'm not a low empathy character. I'm like, I imagine you're kind of confused as to why someone like myself is freaking out at this seemingly insignificant news. What might be considered good news by some people.
Yes, what is going on? You haven't told me. Well, I mean, I don't really know anybody.
He will explain. It's at this point that he will. You know what? I'll do this in character. George will snap his fingers and call for a small bottle of absinthe to be brought, and he will make himself a glass. As he kind of swirls it around as it's being prepared, and he says, when Evie and Echo both know about my sister. Her name is Iphigenia Stone. And
It's my grandmother's name.
In real life?
I was pretty close to it, but I was just making a joke. But yeah, no, it's very close to it.
Gotcha. That's kind of cool. Iffy is as she prefers to go. I know that I've told her, I've introduced her as my little sister, but in truth, she's actually slightly older than I am. I am her little brother. I'm just bigger than she is, obviously. When we were kids, we were on a family trip, and I ran off. We were on a trip to truth be told, I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was somewhere that was very nice, but had some very dangerous places nearby. Some very dangerous ruins. Shortly after, around the time of the blackout, and everything like that. She followed me. I got myself into a bad situation. I had tripped and fallen into and was hanging on for dear life over a pit of scrap metal that would have shredded me to ribbons. And she risked her life managing to pull me up and put me to safety. The unfortunate thing was that when she did, she knocked loose, and you can see that Stone is kind of getting a little bit tense about this. She knocked some rubble loose, and she got really hurt for saving me. And long story short, she was given 6 weeks to live, and my father, being my mother and my father being former Tyrell employees, called in all the favors they could, and it didn't seem to work, and I was in the ER with her. I was in, basically we were ready to say goodbye to her, and the day that on one day I got a call from my parents. Well, I thought it was from my parents. Turned out it was from a police officer who said that my parents had been killed in a car accident. Our parents had. They were killed instantly, and that somebody who could help us would be coming by. About an hour later, a representative of the RDU came by, who was also a representative of Wallace, and he said that they could save my sister, but that she would need treatment for the majority of her adult life to be able to get the strength back because of the gruesome nature of how she was hurt.
How old were you then?
I think I was like 10. She was like 13.
Shit. Well.
And they had one condition. He said that they had one condition, and that was that when I reached the legal age, they would make sure that we were all taken care of, that everything was square, we would not want for anything. But at the moment that I graduated from primary school, I was to, and everything like that, I was to enlist in the academy, and would be given special instruction on how to not only represent the LAPD in hopes of being selected as a Blade Runner eventually, but also how to be an agent for Wallace. And that same RDU and Wallace representative stuck with me for the entire time I've been doing this. You guys ask who Walton Simons was. He was the man who pulled the strings to save my sister. And without him, I think I imagine that without him keeping things copacetic, had the chief not allowed her to basically be able to be transferred into LAPD housing, she would probably be dying in a bed right now. So, and he finishes his absinthe. He's been taking sips of it this entire time. And, yeah. Aside from Walton, Lance was the closest thing I had to a father, and now they're both gone. And you actually see that George is trying to reach into his jacket and hold it shut, because he's really, you can see that his other hand is shaking, and he really wants to reach for his gun and just do something stupid. Like go to Wallace and make a nuisance of himself, but he's trying to control it. So, yeah, he just.
Listen, Stone, I don't know how you deal with grieving process, but I think you should do some experience and come with me to some of the joy houses down over in Little Tokyo, eh? Come on, get your mind off of things, relax, come on, it'll be a good time. Echo, you can come too. And I look at Evie, I don't know, you can tag along or not, but maybe it's boys' night out.
No, you're muted, Evie.
You think I wouldn't be interested?
I don't know how you roll, Evie, but I know these guys need a little bit of a distraction, and it's...
Bodyguard.
You say I'll be a bodyguard?
Yeah, we need a bodyguard.
Honestly, I kind of like that, actually. I'll do that. I'll just look. I'll be the smallest one in the group, looking really menacing. No one will know what to do.
Having said it though, I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like, I think, I don't know if you used the word burned, but it sounds like if he's getting removed and you haven't received a message yet, are we expecting someone to come in here with guns in a minute? Like, how are they burning you? Are they gonna burn you like?
No, it's not.
Is
It's
this
not.
something we have to worry about?
I don't know, honestly. But I imagine, considering my promotion, I imagine it would be rather messy for them to try and assassinate me, if even if they wanted to, especially with the chief being the new chief that he is. No, I like to think that no, I'm not in physical danger, but my ability to to gather information in the traditional way that I used to is now, at the very best, severely hampered.
My next question to you is, are you with us, friend, or are you with him?
And George will just smile and say, "You don't even have to ask. I brought my sister into the LAPD housing for a reason. I don't know if I've told any of you this, but I've had a feeling for a while that this whole doll hunt shit, it's not what my suspicion is, that the doll hunt may have started as kind of a hard target-esque thing." And he'll reference a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from decades earlier. But I think that the dolls are being reactivated and are being used as an assassin squad. Kind of similar to us, but on the side of whoever is controlling them. My initial thought would have been the underground, the replicant underground, but more and more as time goes on, I think that Wallace might be trying to play puppet master here. And playing with my life is one thing, but when you hurt my family, all bets are off. And I'm sorry, but those fuckers have hurt multiple members of my family. And he'll just look at all of you, and then he'll look at his locket.
Well,
He says, "Good."
I was gonna say, so what's the alternative? I mean, it sounds like they're the only ones that are gonna keep your sister from dying or getting worse. So it sounds like the only option is to get Wallace back to helping.
Thankfully, right before all this happened, right before Lance was killed, she had completed her main course of treatment, and she was getting she was mainly doing PT at this point. So while she may still not be able to walk fully yet, she's out of danger, thankfully, at this point of dying.
Of regression.
Of regression, exactly, yes. But she's going to be in a lot of pain and and is going to need a lot of help. And George will look directly at you, Elijah, and say, I don't know about the experience, my friend, but I don't know if you can synthesize pain meds, but if you can, I'll throw you whatever I can come up with to get my sister some pain meds occasionally.
There you go. And I just toss you a bottle of pills that are just like regular painkillers.
He kind of looks and says, "You just keep these on you at all times?"
You'll never know when you need them. I don't drink. I only do experience.
Out of character, are these like Tylenol and Advil, or are these like Vicodin? Are these like Vicodin?
No, just Advil.
He says, "I appreciate it, but she needs something a little bit stronger. Having your lower and upper torso reattached cybernetically, and having to have that done tends to hurt a little bit more, even after you've gotten done."
I'm sorry to laugh, but the idea of him just giving you some chamomile tea.
So, just to close this off, is this evening going to Joy Houses and Evie standing in line?
Sure. I'll go and use my downtime, my last bit of downtime, to go on a joy run with Elijah and Echo and Evie.
I want to go to the circus one. I heard one where there's like a circus with trapezes and everything.
Everyone, except Echo, will add 1 stress and 1 health back. At some point, Evie, you get propositioned if you accept, while just standing outside being a guard.
Do anything.
That way you get to make some extra change. Sorry, I'm just messing around.
No, I mean you're standing outside the dollhouse, so.
Yeah, and yeah, she just like gives just burning side eye, like.
I'll take that as a
You're
no.
asking the wrong person.
I will take that as a no, and he just walks inside.
Yeah, I decided to take us to the circus joy one. I don't know.
Interesting night for everyone. Echo doesn't get any sleep. Health and stress back for everyone. The next shift, Echo, you will take another point of stress if you don't sleep this off.
I'm gonna sleep it off. I'm gonna sleep in a little bit.
So you're off.
Cover for me. I'll bring in donuts as like that's why I was late.
So you're off. First shift for everyone. What's the day looking like?
I'm going to talk to Jacob Anderson.
Okay.
About
He would be in the garage, so
work
that's not far.
He did on the car.
Sure.
I'm not gonna go with her, but I am gonna sit at my desk, and in as close to an incognito window as I can. I'm gonna tap into the CCTV screen, watching this whole thing with audio turned on onto my headset, and just watch this from afar, and just be like, I wish I had some popcorn.
If you want to take this time, you can actually recover again if you want. Like, do nothing
Sure,
on this.
yeah,
you can recover
that's
health.
totally fine.
Then that leaves Elijah.
Big cup of coffee, and just like a little bit of white powders just on his mustache, and just like sunglasses are on. They come into the office and like, it looks like I'm going to go over to what's that one guy's name? The guy who does the illegal shit, that gets the illegal guns to bad people. He always gives information. Lance really liked the guy, I think. At least that's what they look like in the reports.
It's Anders.
What was his name again?
Anders.
Yep, so I'll be heading over to Anders' place to see if he has any extra tools that I could perhaps purchase to data mine.
Okay. So we can start with Evie then, because you're the nearest in the headquarters. He is working on another spinner. He's repairing its wheels. That's a ground car. When you ask for him, his supervisor just directs you to one of the cars, and he's just working there. Typical grease monkey. Like, his hair is cut very short, he's covered in oil, and he's working on the vehicle when he gets called to attention and sees you. Yeah, officer, how can I help you?
Hi, I just had a couple of questions for you. I noticed in some of the logs on our spinners that allegedly you did some work on my team's spinners, but I don't remember ever sending them in for maintenance, and same with my team. So I'm just wondering if you recall doing this work, and I show like the log of what was done.
The log, by the way, was about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
No, I remember this. I didn't do the work. I lent Chief my badge. Said he needed some tools, specific tools for his agents. Told me it was classified. Told me not to ask questions. That was Chief Holden.
The old chief.
Yeah.
And this came directly from his mouth?
Yeah, he went straight up to me. Said that he needed my badge to log out some items. He needed it for his staff. Yeah. I didn't question it. I mean, the guy signs my checks.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why he would have needed that. Well, and I'm gonna do an insight just to make sure that he's
Sure.
like,
And it's
it seems
just
that
roll
he's
insight.
being truthful. Yeah.
What was that?
It was just one
what?
success.
Yeah, he looks like he doesn't typically know. Like he's
Okay.
just following his orders, but he does look at you. Is there anything wrong with it? I can take a look if you like.
I mean, there doesn't. If you could take a look at mine and just make sure that there isn't anything in there that shouldn't be in there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you bring it in through the garage? I'm almost done with this thing anyway.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
Drive it, park it in, and he'll spend the rest of the like an hour or so checking it. The engine's fine. Magnetic drive is fine. I guess I can look at the KIA if you like. He just starts opening it up, the computer that's attached to your car, and you can be inside to watch it, just so you see that he doesn't do anything.
I'll watch him.
I mean, everything looks in order. Hold on.
What?
He's going through some wires. There's something attached to the board that's not standard. He plucks it out. That's weird. He takes out his computer and then he plugs it in. An added chip on the board. He's typing something. That's odd. He's scratching his head. So your KI is fine. Your car is fine, but there's an added chip on it that it blocks trackers.
Blocks trackers.
Well, not exactly blocks. It's like basically if someone was to use the Esper wall to check where your vehicles are, they'd be sent a false location.
Huh.
It also encrypts communication. Looks like anything that was sent from this KIA gets sent to a private server. I don't have the skills to know where the server is, but looks like it bypasses the LAPD.
If you want to give me that information in the chip, I think I might know just the person. Can look into that.
He hands it to you. Here, you can visit the chip.
Thank you.
It was active when I pulled it out, so whatever it's meant to do, it's not going to be doing while it's out of the car.
Got
You
it.
okay with that, or you want me to
Perfect.
put it back in?
No. I would like to keep it. Thank you.
Sure.
Also, I might be sending some of my teammates in as well. If you could remove those chips too, and I'll give him a chinion. And I would appreciate this if this was off the books.
Connections. We have advantage because you're bribing him.
Frick.
Nice push.
Okay, I'll take the success.
He takes the money. He's like, absolutely. I mean, these tools were already out for fixing that car. Just gives you that look. Doesn't finish the sentence. Like, he doesn't have to log the tool use anymore because it's already out. But he has to have the cars today. Which technically, if you want, you can get the keys from or the extra keys and take their spinners there for your shift. Like, so they don't have to.
Aren't there like autopilots on the spinners?
Yes.
Okay.
But limited.
I'm gonna text Echo and tell him to send over his
Spinner?
police spinner. Yeah.
You want me to send over my police spinner on auto drive?
Yes.
If it's only to the headquarters, it's not going to be that hard.
It's
this
only to the
talent wasted.
headquarters. It's important, trust me.
Nomination. I'll send it like a golem. It will strive through the sky.
And I'll let the
Technician?
both George and Elijah know as well.
So, for the rest of this, he's basically removing the exact same thing, and it's present in all of your spinners. He's still perplexed by it, but you paid him not to ask questions. He's not gonna ask questions.
Okay.
Which leaves the only other person doing anything for this shift, Elijah. You walk into Anders's shop, which is a place that you probably are familiar with before you became a Blade Runner. Nice illegal weaponry, some drugs, probably got your paraphernalia to make homemade experience from here. He's on the newspaper. Then he looks at you. Customer, how can I help?
Hey, Anders. This one's off the books, but
Everything off books
do
here.
you have anything that anything I can use to dig into some data logs, take a look at deleted data, rebuild old hard drives? We're talking about looking at hex code, maybe down to deleted and overwritten data. I am gonna break into some highly illegal shit. You follow?
He thinks. It sounds like dangerous work. I have just the thing, but it will cost you.
How much?
He'll charge you the equivalent of 2 Chinian. But he does show you what he's giving you. It is almost the same thing that you're using in the LAPD.
Now,
This is an older model. First, this is older model. Something in LAPD storage, they toss out. Sometimes LAPD, they need extra cash. They do some things. I don't ask questions. They send it here. I buy. Then I sell. It is pawn shop. People come in with all kinds of things. I take it off their hands for price. I resell it for profit. Old model works just as fine. He just taps it.
From my jacket, I like remove a baggie of experience, and I look at him. Would you like some experience? I can synthesize at least a month's worth for you, and but we knock it down 1 Chinian, eh?
Connections.
The
Or
one
manipulation.
thing I'm so bad at.
Your call.
I'm still bad at manipulation, so between the two of them, I'm going to go with the manipulations just because. Just barely.
Okay, he just looked.
Just barely.
I haven't had good experience in a while. Fine. 1 month's worth. 5 grams for every day of month. I give you 1 Chinian
5
plus
grams
this.
for every day. Perfect. And I can work that out. Do you want it all in bulk or do you want it just delivered weekly, eh?
Bulk separated in bag for each day. Mark it by calendar if you
Perfect. I can do that. Do you want the specific little times on them too? Do you want the little one that says 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m.,
can. No,
4
no,
p.m.?
no. I don't like having fixed schedule. And Anders take drugs. Anders does when he wants, what he wants. And he puts it there. He just hands you. I expect delivery soon.
Good man. Alright, I'll see you on the weekend, eh?
Just
Or
nods at you.
rather, yeah, it's Friday, right?
Yep. He just looks at you.
And then I hand him the Chinian and
He hands you the equipment.
silently make our exchange.
You paid Chinian, so this doesn't fully cover your shift. So if you want to basically hang out in a CD bar and do that there, or go home, because you don't travel too far to get to this place. Then
Yeah,
I'll just
I'm
have you
probably
make the
gonna go
tech
home
roll.
and
you can
Just gonna
reconstitute
accept it on that one.
a little more data. And the creation log. You have the names of the dolls, or at least the designation numbers given to them. The odd thing with the information is that while you have all the dolls here, and they were all created at the same time, L, who is on the log, was created about 12 hours later. And the person's badge who was used to create her and breed her from the vat is not the same badge that was used to create the rest of the dolls. The badge number has no name attached to it anymore. The databases were wiped out. But the badge numbers will just be numbers to you unless you can get access to Wallace's deeper databank. But for now, they're just badge numbers. The one that made L is different from the one that made the dolls. They were made on the same day, but they were made 12 hours apart. That's the most you get out of these drives.
Interesting. Okay. And then, well, after, how would that take the rest of that shift for myself?
Depends what you're doing, because you won't be able to travel too much, for example.
Yeah, so since I'm at home, I'm gonna take the rest of the time of that shift to begin to synthesize experience to meet demands.
That is fine. Sure. Blade Runner making drugs. Nothing wrong with that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Of you, Nolan? What is experience? Like, what effect does it have on a person who takes it? Because I presumably took some the night before, and I as a player want to know what kind of good time I got up to.
Sure.
I'm gonna leave that up to the discretion of the DM because
yeah, it's not really described. But experience is basically an extremely common street drug that is a little more regulated now. It is in the form of a powder, so you take it by snorting it. And experience in itself has... Think of it like synth coke in cyberpunk. Like, so it makes like you awake and active.
It's like watered down. It's like watered down cocaine.
Yes, a lot less deadly, but ever so
You're getting
addictive.
it from me though.
So it's like Adderall.
Yes, kind of.
It's like if you took Adderall, the pill.
Kind of, just a little less deadly, but just as addictive or so.
Okay.
But it's called experience on the streets. It is a drug. Mm-hmm. It is snorted, and it makes you feel very energetic and pretty peppy.
Gotcha.
It's not ideal to take when you're a little, down, because then it becomes much more addictive to use. But one use isn't going to be that bad for you. But
yeah, that's why Eli doesn't drink.
Gotcha.
On your second shift, now that Echo's in, interesting thing happens before you guys decide what you're gonna do. Each of you receives a message on your KIA that deletes itself. And it leaves no trace. The message reads the same for all of you. Your last chance and an address. Be there. Don't tell anyone, or it's off. Anyone is in all caps. But it's an address that you managed to clock in, but the message deletes itself, and you recheck the KIA, the logs aren't there.
I message the group and say,
go for it.
No, you go for it. I've been taking up a lot of the screen time.
I was gonna message the group and say, so who's going?
And George will just say, me.
No, I'm the one that's always volunteering for the horrific false hostage situations.
This might be one that we may all want to go to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we're all supposed to go.
I think this is the DM telling us that we're all supposed to
Hey.
go.
No, you will have a legitimate choice not to. I mean that legitimately, like you have the choice not to.
Yeah. No.
Or you have the choice to
Yeah,
break
I got-
what's being said and tell someone. Because it's on the logs, which means your chief doesn't know.
What was that, Elijah?
I'm gonna go kind of like begin. I'm just gonna begin to drive after having made the most amount of experience that I've probably ever made. It's like
In
perfect.
a
I'd imagine
single
with that.
sitting.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Force is Jesus Christ.
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. But yeah, after that, I'm gonna take off with my spinner and begin to head to the address, messaging the group. I'm already en route. Anybody's gonna be there? I guess I'll hang back for a few.
Are you all going?
Well, I'm
going.
I'm going.
Almost wonder if the new guy should hang back. If whoever we're meeting would even expect the new guy.
Well,
Well, you got the
text
same message.
too, though.
Oh, so Elijah did get the message too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Just need to know if you're all going.
Yep.
Okay, then. Everyone is?
I'm trying to think if there's any prep we need to do.
Not a lot of time based on the time that they told you to be there. Just enough time for you to drive going there from the LAPD.
So yeah,
Alright,
I'm
let's
making
do
my way
it.
down there.
Okay. When your spinners start flying, if the four of you are bringing 4 different vehicles, you're going to Griffith Park, just outside the observatory. Once you land, there are armed guards everywhere, and there's a carrier helicopter, and you're just being looked at like, get in.
Can I tell what kind of what guards these are? Are these Wallace guards or are these government guards?
They are... You've seen them before around the Wallace Corporation.
Fuck. Okay.
Private army of Wallace.
Yeah.
You're being told to get in.
George will just kind of look and say, "All right, guys, I guess we're going on a field trip. Let's get in." And he will lead the way, and he will jump into the thing.
Okay.
And
When
then,
you guys get in,
the
yeah.
Echo. The Echo, I kind of look at Echo and just say, I don't know about you, but I don't trust this situation here. I need to know you got my back if shit goes down, eh?
Hell yeah, man! Together.
Okay, good. Because I know Space, or I know George Stone. I know he's a good cop, but he got blowed up yesterday, and I don't want that to happen again. I very much like living on this side.
Oh no, man! Just let me take point and just pull me back if I fall. We got
Okay.
this, man.
Okay. So, you get inside the helicopter, it closes, you get flown. While you're flying, there isn't really any of the guards speaking to you. But they do fly you very quietly to Wallace Corporation. The helicopter lands on its helipad, and there are already soldiers waiting, basically presenting themselves as an aisle. Like, you walk down this aisle, nowhere else. All of them are armed to the teeth, and by the time you walk out of the helicopter, it is a short ride. It was mostly to leave your spinners behind. By the time you walk out of the helicopter and you move forward, there's a metal detector, and you are being stripped of your weapons.
I'll get mine with like no recourse. It's just like, fine, let's get this shit over with.
Okay.
Yeah, Evie gives any weapons totally willy-nilly because she is the weapon.
That's fair.
I'm gonna keep everything. I'm gonna turn over everything except for my flask, which will probably still set off the smoke detector.
That's fine. They're only taking your weapons. You get brought inside. Yeah. Directed to a room.
George. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Are you gonna do anything?
I was gonna say George will take out his gun, be very hesitant, and look to the guy and say, because he takes it off because he doesn't have a shoulder holster, he has a hip holster. He will actually take off the holster and make sure it's safety latched, and he will say, "Keep this shit safe."
Just
And
pushes
he will
the
then
box
hand it over
forward.
and walk to the. He will put it into the box.
I will just tell all of you that you are unarmed again, but you enter
Okay.
the Walls Corporation. You go through some of its lobbies, and you enter a room with no windows, just gold-laced walls, and a little like internal waterfall fountain thing across one of the walls. Some plants that may or may not be real. And the large area in the center where the floor is slightly lower than the rest, and the couches are along that indent on the wall on the floor. And for the first time for most of you, you are seeing Neander Wallace Jr. himself. Long slick back hair, immaculate looking suit, and another woman, the first Nexus 9 to become Blade Runner. Recently retired. Love. And you are gestured by the guards behind you to sit down on the couch. Then he looks...
Without any recourse, I just sit down.
Wallace pours himself from a glass container of whiskey, and then he passes the tray wordlessly, like if any of you want a drink, but he just takes a sip from it.
George will take the decanter and smell it first. What does it smell like? Does it smell
Whiskey.
high quality?
Yep.
Is it? Okay. He will pour a double for himself, and kind of lean into Evie and say, "You're not gonna get this shit even from me anytime soon. I drink up while you can."
Yeah, I'll take a swig.
And yeah.
Wallace has two grayed out eyes. Most people know that he's biologically blind, but he seems to see you where you are just fine. He takes a drink, takes his sweet time starting, but you also know that this is not the place to be impatient. I'll make this very simple. Your current investigation. Chief Holden was smart enough to understand when he was biting off more than he can chew. Chief Brian has been less cooperative. And it looks like so are you. But I don't want to be on the wrong foot. Make it simple. Drop it. Your jobs will be secure. Chief Brian doesn't have much long left on the chair. You'll keep your work. If you don't drop it, And I want you to know exactly what it is you're signing up for. Many dangerous things happen to Blade Runners. Most of them simple. Gunshot, stab, cut, bomb, poison. What you are facing is going to be much, much worse. He stopped. But I'm not a man who negotiates by breaking someone's arm. I'm a man who likes to negotiate. So, option A. You do this peacefully. You drop it. And I will give each of you a life worth living. Especially you. He looks at Evie. I understand that the world is not accepting, and I have tried my best to fight that. But you'll find that other worlds are far more accepting than here. Life without violence. Life where you don't have to kill your own anymore. A life where you can be treated like everyone else. Like you deserve to be. And for the rest of you, enough money that being a Blade Runner becomes a hobby than a living. He takes a drink. And for you, and he looks at Stone, well, I make certain your sister stays alive forever and longer. Don't mistake that for a threat. Yes, I'm sure that you've already assumed that her condition is within the recovery stage, but I also assure you it is not. And he gives you a data pad to look at. Inside, it's a bunch of medical stuff, so you'll need to roll your medicine to figure this out, unless you'd like to ask for help from anyone else.
No, I'm decent at I'm decent at medicine.
Medical aid.
Yeah.
There are 4 plus 2s now. I think Bradzilla just sent one.
I will take a +2.
Okay.
2 successes.
Good. Her medical records are exactly as you expect, but without the regular maintenance medicine she's being provided by Wallace, it will deteriorate. Slowly, but it will.
How slowly?
Over the next few months, it's going to be a lot of pain and a lot less walking. In about 6 months, she's going to lose all use of her lower extremities, and it may have to be removed. The medicine basically makes sure the cybernetics that keep them together doesn't interfere with her immune system, and vice versa. And Wallace does not release that drug to the public, so no one has access to it but his scientists.
So it's like a lupus?
Yes, kind of.
More,
or
kind
no,
of, but it's also it's more like neuropozyne from. It's more like neuropozyne from Deus Ex.
It's not that.
I heard Dr. House say it's never lupus. Yeah.
It's more like if you treat the cybernetics like an organ implant. Sometimes you have to take medicine that lowers your immune system so that your body accepts it. It's like that, but on an extreme level.
Yeah. It's an immunosuppressant, a very powerful immunosuppressant.
But also make sure she
Gotcha.
doesn't get any infections along the way, so she can live a semi-healthy life.
Yeah.
But he just looks at all of you. That is option A. Option B, however, you carry on. You do as you were told. You do what you perceive to be your job. And I do nothing. I will not interfere. I will not aid. I will do nothing. And you may continue on your work as you please. I'll need everyone to make an insight roll. This is mostly passively, but also active if you're really looking into it. 2 for Evie, is that a crit? Oh, Evie got a crit. And George got 2 successes, 1. Okay, great. All of you are aware enough that he's not lying about it, but him doing
He
nothing.
will do nothing.
No, I mean he means that in a way that the Wallace Corporation will not interfere. It will not do anything, but it also means that you are getting no access from him at all, and if you try to do it legally, then he will do the legal route of making you jump through hoops to get a warrant. You will get
So can I ask
nothing
real
from
quick?
Wallace.
Is he wanting us to drop this current mission, or like a certain category of missions forever?
This current one. Basically L and everything about it. Everything that's happening.
Oh, that whole mission. I thought it was like this
Yes.
little tiny mission, but if
No, like he wants you to drop this whole investigation into L and everything about what happened. Now again, option B, he does nothing, and you have your investigation, and again he's being serious that Wallace will do absolutely nothing. That is both good and bad. You will get nothing else from Wallace Corporation, and if you think you can handle this investigation without it, then this is the great option. Because he seems very serious about Wallace doing nothing to any of you. That also means,
I'll say,
unfortunately, that Stone doesn't get the medicine either. And then...
I'm gonna say out loud. Go ahead.
Oh, go. If you're gonna... Because he's about to say something else, but you are allowed to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm gonna say out loud, so what? Elle just walks forever, and then she kills the chief, she kills any one of us, and we just ignore it forever. Tell me that you have your own plan, you have your own strike force, you guys are gonna squash her like a bug, something's gonna happen in the back end. Hell, have us do it on our downtime. What the hell's what's your plan? Just let her run around forever?
My plans involve her not ceasing to exist.
Oh.
But if you are so adamant about involving yourself in this, then I present to you option C. On this and this alone, you work for me. You do as I say, and you sign very specific and ironclad NDAs that invalidate any and all statements that you will have regarding this case to anyone outside of this room. It will never go public. It will never meet the press. It will never be known by anyone. And we can work together. And you can have
George will chime in.
your medicine. He looks at
George will chime in and say, Mr. Wallace, thank you for taking the time. Can we please be given some time to discuss this, maybe in just a few moments, in private?
Yes, just the balcony. It is loud enough because the helicopters are ringing, but that also means bugs won't be able to hear you.
Gotcha. I'm gonna usher everybody out onto the balcony, and I'm gonna say, well, fuck.
It sounds like if our chief gets a front page headline that L got killed, I mean, if L gets killed, either way, everybody's happy, right? Isn't that the whole point?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. If I can keep my sister alive, and still be able to do our mission, what the fuck does it matter who I'm doing it for? What does it matter what banner I'm flying?
And we would be kidding ourselves if we think that we could do this without some kind of cooperation from Wallace. I mean, they could completely stonewall us.
Hell.
And we would have no...
Yeah, the chief never said, by the way, when you're doing this mission, don't ever hook up with Wallace and have them help you kill L.
I mean he really hates Wallace, though.
Actually, that was specifically what he said.
Yeah, that is...
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said.
He specifically said, do whatever you have to do to get revenge for our fallen. And we are following that to the letter, if we take option C.
He also said that he doesn't want anyone working for Wallace.
But then
That's
you
why
also
he's been
got to
firing
think
people.
that... Yeah, but then you also got to think that if it's true that he's not going to be on the thing for much longer, what does it really matter? We can ask to take a sabbatical, and then we can go and do it on our own time, and work for Wallace then.
That depends on which side you think. You know, like, do you think Wallace can do it to him, or what he's gonna do to him? Because that either sounds like
he's not going to be around very much longer. They say he's not going to be around very much longer. Are we talking about the new chief who just had our back and just gave a passionate speech is going to be blown up? He's going to die? I mean, is that what she's talking about? Or he's not going to be reassigned to the other LA precinct?
all Wallace said was that he's not going to be around that chair for much longer. So whatever that means, you're not sure. This does also mean, if you work for him, anything and everything you find out about L can never leave. Basically, there will be no headlines. There will be no big media thing about it. All that the newspaper will read is third-page news that says another replicant's been killed by a Blade Runner. There will be no real justice. So what's the plan?
I kind of just get up from the group and kind of I walk back in without saying a word to anybody. Just walk back in.
Just to be clear also, option A is the only one where you get all the money. Option C means you go about your daily lives but you work for him. And
I'm going
George gets
just without saying any.
Yeah.
I'm going in there without saying anything. I don't know about the rest, but unfortunately, money makes it to where I don't have to suffer the living on the street. And between you and me, this whole Blade running thing is a nice side job, but I need something more serious and more stable. A little less me dying.
Smart choice. What about the rest of you still outside?
So Elijah chose A.
You want to drop it.
Elijah went for the money.
And the rest of you?
Stone is not going to be doing B, obviously, but he is weighing the options mentally of either A or C. And frankly, either one works for him, but he can't take. He knows that if he takes A, he's probably going to have to take a sabbatical and at least be suspended for a while, but then will probably be might be reinstated once the new chief comes in. But he knows that with C, he's basically going to be sacrificing all of the goodwill and all of the trust that he's built up within the department to go entirely work for Wallace, which he's at this point not okay with. So he will look to all of you and both of you and say, I want to do C, but frankly, I think that as much as I hate the idea, I mean, she's going to die either way. I know this man. I've heard of him. I've read his profiles. I've seen his schematics or what have you. He doesn't ever make a promise or say shit like this if he doesn't intend to keep it. On either side of the spectrum. If he says that she's going to be dead, she's going to be dead. What does it matter if we take the credit or not?
There's one thing. This only applies to 3 of you, not Elijah. Taking option A means that you will never know what happens. It means, effectively, Lance died for nothing. So if you take option A, I'm throwing 2 stress for each of you. Because basically, he dies in vain. It will never come out in the light. No one will ever know what happened. You will never know why it had to happen. He died on the job relating to it because you guys kept investigating. Nothing. He and Chief Holden will be gone, and that's gonna be the end of it. And you are going to be taking that stress for each of you who takes option A for the 3 of you.
And guys, while we're out here on the ledge, can we just choose C and then choose A later? I mean, not A later, but I feel like whatever NDA they're gonna have us sign. I mean, yeah, might be screwing over the Wallace Corp, but depending on how this goes, L is the most famous terrorist in history. If it means going undercover with Wallace for a little bit, we can do a debrief with the department. I mean, I know if the chief's gonna be gone, maybe we can explain it to the new chief, but I don't know. This whole thing just sounds... Just a real quick, when he says work for Wallace, we would still be Blade Runners working at the department.
This is only the one case, and you will be Blade Runners.
Okay.
You'll be working as Blade Runners, but for this one case, you will do everything he says and ignore the LAPD. So anytime there's a conflict, you follow him, not the LAPD.
Yeah.
And when this case is over, you do go back to being Blade Runners.
I think
It's just-
with all of... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
With all of this and like taking all this in, Evie goes in and goes up towards Neander and says, so where's the contract?
Option C. Interesting. What about the other 2?
George will just kind of look to Echo and say, I'm down for C if you are, bud.
Yeah. Let's go with C and apologize to the chief later. I think outcomes over means.
Yeah.
So you guys step inside. He looks at the 4 of you. Here is the impasse. You can't have different decisions that would defeat the purpose of an NDA. And then he looks at Elijah. But I am not an unreasonable man. He looks at Elijah. Since you seem to be the most reasonable here and came to a decision rather quickly, I will make an amendment. The NDA Option C, and he looks at Elijah again. And your money. If you continue to help them, help me. For this one case. One case. And I will give you your money, and I will give you, he looks at Stone, the lifetime supply of the medicine your sister requires out of my hands in an industrial freezer to be installed in a place of your choice. It'll be all the shots she needs until she finally gets better, which she will, and she can walk and will feel no pain, which she will if she receives that medicine. One case to disobey your orders, and you can have what you want.
May I also ask for one final amendment?
He looks to you, drinks.
I'll also take a drink and I'll say, all of us, well, the three of us, Evie, Detective Jones, and myself, I may have my own personal reasons for doing this, but a common reason that we all have is to honor the memory and to get justice for some of our fallen that were killed by this fucking bitch. I'm not asking for anything other than what you've already mentioned, and I don't want any kind of. I don't think any of us care if we get credit for it, but I humbly ask, sir, that in your own way you honor their memory when it comes time for credit to be given. What form that takes, I leave up to you. But that is my only other request.
I'll make it simple. If you do exactly as I say throughout this entire process, I'll even make sure no harm comes to your new chief. You can then keep his job, let him believe that you're his loyal pet. But you do as I say throughout everything until this is done, and the contract ends when it's over. And I'll make sure that you all get the honors that your fallen brothers deserve. That you will have your headlines, you will have your news, you will have the statements made, that they will be remembered, and that the vile creature that did this is reported dead by whoever's hands they're reported to be dead by. But you must follow everything in these contracts, and he gives the papers that were already printed. And the actual death, the body of this replicant, will be sent to Wallace, and you will ensure that there will be a body to send, dead or alive. Do that. And as I said, I am not an unreasonable man. I will give you what you've asked. And then you will never have to be under my thumb anymore. One job.
George will look to, will use his, will knowing that Neander has his own neural implant, George will send him a message saying, does this mean I'll be released from my duties as a Wallace agent?
Yes.
George just kind of nods, and he'll look to Echo and Evie and say, I'm all about this if you guys are.
I want to find out.
So do I.
Yeah, the chief is counting on us.
Okay.
Can we see the contracts, please? And I'm
You
gonna
will-
read through the contracts.
It's a standard NDA, which means anything that you say to media or anyone else is a breach of it. It does also mean that everything that you do, everything about this deal is void if you break it. But otherwise, it is exactly as he says, amended and all.
Okay.
While you take it, he looks at Elijah. I believe this is an excellent middle ground for yourself.
Oh, I guess. I kind of look at the rest of the crew and it's kind of like I just kind of like avoid eye contact for a little bit, and then I just take the contract and just without uttering a word sign it, and then just kind of sniffle and call it.
Yeah, I'm
Everyone
gonna look over at the signature. I'm gonna put my signature down and say, "You're telling me by the end of this, the most famous replicant terrorist in history is gonna be dead?" Easy signature.
He lets you sign it.
George will just silently sign, and then kind of sit down with his glass and just take out his locket, just kind of look at it and just kind of stare at it for a little bit as he sips his whiskey.
I mean, option A, I think we'd still have to find her. I mean, option B, we'd still have to just find her. I assume this is going to fast track everything.
Evie?
Yeah, she doesn't. I mean, she takes a moment to look over the contract a bit, but her mind is pretty much made up.
Decided.
And she's gonna sign it.
The contracts are taken. His legal team takes it. He looks at them to the four of you. Excellent. Now that we can actually work together, he looks to the four of you. Mind you, I was going to offer Holden the same deal, but he wanted to think it over. He wanted to take the time to leave, think, and drink. It's unfortunate. Holden and I had a working arrangement that was beneficial to both parties. Chief Bryant is less cooperative, but as the deal states, he will stay in his position. As for the four of you, you will be given privileged access to the information pertinent to Elle and everything about her creation, subject to your NDA. And of course, in good faith, he provides briefcases for all of you. 2 for George. First of all, because you've signed this agreement, I will ask each of you to add 10 Chinyan.
Oh my god!
Signed off on it.
Yep.
Secondly,
What was the name of the guy that came to the Walls building the night before again?
Reese.
Reese. Can I tell him real quick? I'll say, by the way, as part of this investigation, and we're all under an NDA now. Can you tell Reese to cut it out? I
Well,
was going to say that.
whether you like it or not, Reese signed this deal long before you did. But if you'd like him to not be a part of it, then I can simply tell him to drop it.
Hey, as long as he's not getting in our way. If he's helping, he's helping.
He assumed that you had something to do with it. But we can all get along with that. Mr. Stone, this is for you. A month's supply of the medicine your sister requires, and you will be given one for each month that this case goes on. And once we can confirm that this has been done to the letter of the agreement, you'll be given the entire supply remaining, and a freezer to store them in, and detailed instructions for any nurse you may hire to apply the medicine specifically, and without harm. As for your information, come by here tomorrow morning, and I will have for you everything that you need to know. He
Yes,
looks
sir.
to the four of you also. Holden had a chip installed in each of your cars that seems to have been removed. He looks like he doesn't know who removed it, but he goes on. I will let you know that Holden was attempting to protect you for. The chip was so that I could not monitor your communications or know your specific location. I will need those chips reinstalled. I will need those chips to remain uninstalled as part of our agreement. Return here tomorrow morning. You'll have an appointment. Tell your chief that I made you, that you've gotten my staff to agree to giving you information. And he
I
lets
think
you
we
walk
can do
away.
that.
That
As soon as we're outside and we are out of the building, George is just gonna look and just kind of be like, I need a fucking drink. I know I just had one, but oh my god.
Whatever you guys will decide to do with your time afterwards, because that's the end of your second shift, we'll get to that next week. For now, it is 8 p.m. We're going to close off this session with our Blade Runners selling their souls.
You can't sell what you don't have.
Very quickly, if you guys have already added your Chinyan, also add the 1 humanity point before I forget. We're ending the session. And very quickly,
Yay!
tell everyone where they can find you and what you're up to. Echo.
I'm here at Cybernation Uncensored, hanging out in the Discord. I'm here every week. Send me a message, and I'll be around.
Shockman.
Hey guys, it's Michael Shockman. Yeah, you can find me here on Sunday nights. You can find me. I just gotta say, oh my God, Nigel! Like seriously, like that, like you are a master, my friend. Like golf clap. Anyway, with that out of the way, you can find me on my own Twitch channel. Usually. Sometimes on Mondays and Fridays at this point, but almost always on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Currently, I'm getting close to finishing up my my current season of my Let's Play of Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls 4. You can also find me over on YouTube, where you can get access to all of my previous content on one channel and my informational videos on the other. Those being at youtube.com/@Michael Shockman and at the DM Shockman Institute, respectively. You can also find me over on Twitter. I don't really post there very much, but yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you!
George Lee.
Hi, I'm Dorgely. You can find me on Twitch, on YouTube, and Instagram at Dorgely with 2 Ys. And then you can also find me here on Tuesday for Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. It's really fun. I'm so excited for more of that crazy, crazy tabletop game. It's really, really fun. It's at the same time as the show, so 5 p.m. Pacific Standard.
And Nolan.
Hey guys, I'm Nolan North. I played good old Elijah Payne. What an interesting character. Very low empathy. what a scientist he is. But besides that, you can find me here in the CNU Discord as Nolan, and on Instagram at Nolan_North, where I take pictures. But occasionally, it's been a while since I posted an actual picture. But besides that, you can find me here running Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. What a weird and zany world that the players get to map and enjoy and experience. A very, 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 very weird sci-fi D&D world. It's really fun.
Everyone else, join the Discord server. Try to get into one of these streams. Maybe run a stream of your own. Have fun with us over there. We talk about all sorts of sci-fi dystopian games, but until then, we will see you again next week. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.